Hey, everybody. I'm Nancy from American Pet Professionals. Happy Tuesday, and welcome to our second episode of our fall of season of Digging Into the Pet Industry, our live video show, which we are airing on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. So wherever you're watching from, thank you for watching. And if you're listening to a future podcast episode of this show, thank you for listening. So today I'm super excited to have on iPupPee member Mark Condin, the founder of iPupPee. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Nancy. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
So good to see you from a distance. We met in Boston back earlier in the summer, and we're talking all about iPupPee. And I'm so happy to have you here because I know you've made a lot of strides in the last few months. So here on the show, we dig in. My first question for you, Mark, is how does a finance guy get into the pet industry? Why don't you give a little background on what you do and then how you got into the pet industry?
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting. Certainly not a traditional route. So I'm in finance, and long story short, I work with a lot of business owners, small or large business owners. And I had done a podcast of my own called Boston's Best. And what I did is I interviewed business owners in Massachusetts as a way to just network with more business owners, like-minded people. And I ended up interviewing a company by the name of 52 Launch out of Framingham, Massachusetts, ironically, where I live. And I'd never heard of them. They're 5 minutes down the street from me. And what they do is they help you bring products to retail. I think their tagline is from napkin to reality. And it's always something I'd wanted to do is bring a product to market. I just think it's cool. I love Shark Tank. I just love the whole entrepreneurial thing. And we had gotten to talking and ideas, and this idea came up. And I'm just a huge dog person. I had a chocolate lab, my boy Champ, for 14 years, which I'm sure we'll get into. So it just kind of spoke to me, this product in general. It was interesting timing with everything as well. So just kind of how it happened. And now it's like all dogs, and it's all dog. It's all iPupPee now. It's all I think about in the present day.
And what year was that happens, that you met with 52 Launch and you were like, wait a minute, I want to launch something?
Yeah, that was last year. That was about a year and a half ago. It was I had chatted with them. I had that podcast. I think it was around February, March-ish of 2022. I know it was episode 85 on Boston's Best. And then I was chatting with them after, and then, we were just talking for a couple months after that and ended up with the idea of iPupPee. So It's been about 18 months from the very, very beginning of, from concept to now very close to reality.
Wow. Yeah. You're getting close, and we're going to discuss that. But so when you're sitting there thinking like, I want to do a product, what made you decide I want to do a pet product? Were you paying attention to the pet industry like a lot of people have been the last few years?
Candidly, I was not.
You weren't? Okay.
It was just a few ideas. We were bouncing back and forth off each other. And the idea of this came up kind of like picture like a Staples That Was Easy button, just a way for a dog to notify you. And I'm just a huge dog person. My boy Champ was, it was nearing his time. Like the thought of bringing like a dog product to market, kind of like as a way to keep Champ's memory on, is just kind of how the whole thing happened. And then it's just, domino effect. It's been full force ever since then. Yeah.
So tell us, what does iPupPee do? I know Champ was your amazing inspiration, but tell us like his story that led you to this design and what it does.
Sure. Yeah. So I had Champ for 14 years, 14 years and 3 days to be exact. And the last year was very difficult. His back legs got super weak, which is pretty common amongst labs. And, at the age of 13, when they started to become really weak, it's a pretty long lifespan for that to happen. And I'm in the basement, as you can see now in my home, and he would always come down in the basement and he'd be just hanging out on the couch behind me. My client meetings, in the finance gig, he's sleeping. He's just like dreaming of rabbits. His legs are just kicking in the background, and people got a kick out of it. And he was always down there, and his legs became too weak where he couldn't go up and down the stairs anymore. So selfishly, I carried him up and down just because I enjoyed having his company behind me. And not for nothing, like they were so weak where like if he got in a position where the legs were straight out, he didn't have the leverage to push himself up. So sometimes he'd just be stuck there. It's like, as a dog owner, like if you have a dog, like you get it. It's very difficult to watch. So how iPupPee came to be and where it fits in is it's twofold. Like one, there's a 24/7 live video feed. So if I wanted to, I can just place it wherever he's most likely going to be, and just, it's a very wide screen. It's like a 180 camera. This is the product itself, actually. If I show
There
it,
you
this is the
go.
product
Okay.
itself. So that's the camera. It's a very wide screen camera, and I could log in and just watch them at any point in time. And then if you needed to go to the bathroom, what I think differentiates the iPupPee at least is this is a button, and the dog presses the button. It's connected to your Wi-Fi, and you get a push notification, much like a text message sent to your phone, alerting you that your dog has a need. So it's kind of like receiving a text message from your dog, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So, and then if you wanted to, there's a speaker on the sides. There's a two-way speaker, so you can talk in through it if you wanted to.
My dog would be asking for treats.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. If you train them to push that, you give them a treat. That's probably what.
Yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So where do you I would imagine you put it somewhere, like if they're using it to alert you, like, hey, I'm old, I need to go out to the bathroom, like whatever, or I'm young and like I'm potty training and like I have to go out, or I just want to go outside. How do you train the dog to do that? I know you've been working.
It's a great question.
Trainer,
that's obviously
right?
going to be that's obviously going to be the most important question that everybody asks. Like, I can't get my dog to do this, right? So, we had he's a canine certified dog trainer and dog psychologist, Brian Gagey. Brian's awesome, and his wife is actually ironically enough, a commercial photographer mainly, and does a lot of dog photography. So they're like a perfect match for us. So we worked with them on a 2-day photo shoot here at our house, and we had 7 or 8 dogs, well trained and no training whatsoever. And Brian got the dogs to train to use the button pretty quickly. And I know Brian's a professional, so like, I don't want to set expectations of people being able to do it in 10 minutes. But what Brian had helped us do is he created a very detailed and very comprehensive training manual to get your dog to do this in the right setting when they need to go to the bathroom. So it's going to be a lot of repetition. And then once you get the dog to understand what that button does, you don't need to place it by the door. You can place it in a spot where you're probably gonna have the most purview of where your dog's going to be in your home, so you can always at least watch them. So you don't have to have it if you have like a split level ranch and you just have it by the door, you're not going to really be able to hang out or at least see your dog. So you train your dog. We have a very detailed digital training manual, and Brian's also put together a video training guide as well to help people and show people exactly what he's doing in real time as he's doing it.
I love that. That's so important. That's so important to have both modalities for people to learn and understand and watch that. So, I think, yes, 10 minutes. I'm not really surprised. I feel like most dogs are pretty smart. They get things pretty quickly, and if they're understanding that I have to push that to go out, it's just like potty training. I used to teach responsible dog ownership classes, and that was like the number one question. We have a puppy. We need potty training advice, and I was like, I never really thought it was that hard. I know it's harder with certain breeds. Sure. That's really cool. So you have the product, you have a dog trainer, you have the manual, you have all the education. When are you guys planning on launching? Do you have a launch date yet?
We're so close. Yes. So we are we're very close to giving the green light on mass production. We're waiting on the very final sample. This one, aesthetically, it looks almost exactly. Structurally, it's exactly what it's going to look like. There was a couple tweaks that the manufacturer missed. So we're just waiting on that, which I'm hopeful we get it within the next couple of weeks. And theoretically, that should be the final sample, and what we'll call the golden sample, if you will. So, and it should be good to go. So as long as that's good to go, we give the green light, we give the thumbs up for mass production. And then we were told it's 60 to 75 days from there. It's being manufactured in China. So before it's here at our doorstep in the States. So to coincide with that, what we're doing is we're having a launch party, an iPupPee launch party. So we're really excited about it. If you're in Massachusetts, if you've heard of the new Park 9 dog bar in Everett, 48 Water Street, I think is the address. It's legitimately a 10,000 square foot bar designed for people to bring their dogs. And we rented out a huge space. Right now, I think we have 90 people registered for the event.
Oh, fun.
I want 125. Like, I want another 30,
You're
40
close.
people.
You're so close.
Yeah. So maybe this will help. It's awesome. So we're doing a Kickstarter campaign really to gauge interest for pre-orders. So anybody that, day one, it's a 40% discount on day one from the full
Okay.
MSRP. And then, it gradually goes up a little bit, a little bit each day after that. But so really trying to help with pre-orders to get an idea of just to gauge the interest of it and coinciding with the launch party. So October 4th, Wednesday, October 4th from 6 to
Oh,
10
next
p.m.
week. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
that's next week. So, I mean, I don't want to put pressure on the team we're working with, but I had high hopes that we're going to get that real final sample there. At the very least, this is almost identical. The difference is really just the color of the paw.
Listen,
So
you're
like
having
this,
those pain points of anybody that has brought any kind of product to the market, and then you added tech onto it. So not only
yeah,
did you have the manufacturing of the product, but you also had to create an app that talks to the product. So
yes. So, and yes,
besides the, back and forth, are there any other challenges that you can speak on with bringing the product to markets? Because really, I mean, when you think about it, 18 months is not bad from concept to getting it out, right? It's pretty
right.
fast. And a lot of times it could take longer than that.
Right. Yeah. And in reality, it's probably been like 16 because the first couple months we were like kind of flirting with each other. But
Gotcha.
yeah, so it's funny you say that. Everyone says, yeah, that's really not that long of a time. But when you're in
It
the
feels
moment,
long.
it's
Yeah.
it's a very long time, because
Yeah.
not for nothing, my wife and I, Andrea, she's the co-founder, like we're doing this together, and it's our own money. We don't have angel investors. So like, you put money into it. And it's just like right
Yeah.
now you just keep putting money into it until it gets to
Yeah.
that point. So it seems like a very long time. But
Right.
the process for manufacturing, just if anybody that does it, it's going to take way longer than you think it's going to take. We from this sample to the one we're expecting, we were told 4, maybe 6 weeks. It's going to end up being like 12 to 14.
Yeah.
So it's just you just kind of have to learn. I've learned a lot of patience, I guess
Yeah.
you can say. But
That's a
yeah,
really good tip though, because I think, a lot of people have the idea of a product or an idea of a pet business and they want to suddenly be making, $20 million next year. And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
okay, that's a
Sounds
great
great.
goal. It's a
Yeah,
great goal, but you got to
great
go
goal.
through the process to get there. So
Yeah. Yeah,
very cool.
it's funny because I had emailed the team like a week or two ago, say, hey, like just talk to me like I'm 5. Like, why is it taking so long for this to like we're really just asked for a different color, which they screwed up in the first place. It should have been this color initially, and it was not. And he's like, well, because of that, they had to do like this, and this. And I'm like, so yeah, I just don't know that side of stuff, So I'm
Right.
learning as I go. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
anybody, yeah, it's gonna take a lot longer than you anticipate.
Right. So, being that you and your wife are, founding this company together, putting all of your own money into it, have you used any of your financial background or experience to help bring this product to life?
I have, yeah. So, we've done it a couple different ways. So some of it's paid for via cash. For people that are unaware, if you have what's called a non-qualified investment account, so not an IRA, nothing that's tied to a qualified money that's 59 and a half without penalties and all that type of stuff. If you
Hmm.
just have a traditional investment account, joint or individual that you've opened up on your own, it's considered non-qualified. Depending on the asset level, there's what's called an asset-backed loan, and you're allowed to take loans out against and just essentially using your investment account as collateral. So
Okay.
you're paying interest-only payments. There's no time frame on paying it back. They only allow you to take up to a certain percentage because of the market fluctuations.
Right.
So theoretically, the balance of the portfolio is not in jeopardy because they only allow you to take about 50 to 60% of your balance.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we've done it up to this point. If you wanted to, you can do a home equity line of credit as well, also known as a HELOC. These were very attractive 18 months ago when interest rates were at 3%.
Right.
Now they've
Not as
unfortunately
much.
these are
Yeah.
not fixed rates, unfortunately. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
we've experienced that they're now up, upwards of 8% or so. But yeah, so and I didn't know about that asset backed loan until I was in the industry. So that was helpful.
But that's really, really great advice and
Yeah,
information for people that don't have that financial background or access to a
sure.
financial expert to, to understand that. So I really appreciate you sharing that because
Of course.
I hadn't heard of it, but I have also not been trying to bring a physical product to market
Yeah.
either. So
Fair.
that's
Fair.
really interesting. And, we just, if for American pet professionals, for our members, we just had a forum on grants last week. So there's
I
a
saw
ton
that.
of opportunity for grants. So I know I sent our members an email with all information. There's so much information about that as well. So that
Yep.
could be another option. What would you say, besides patience and learning the finance, has been something really eye-opening to you for the pet industry that you've learned?
For the pet industry, it's huge. I mean, I met you in
Yeah.
person maybe for 30 seconds briefly at Global
At
Pet
Global, yeah.
in March. And that was really eye-opening to me, is just how big the industry is. A buddy of mine goes down there and he is able to get me a visitor's pass. And I just checked it out for the couple of days that I was down there. And it's huge. I mean, the pet industry I had no idea. It was very intimidating. It's like, even when we get there, we're still going to be small, even when we, have sales of the product. But it was a massive place. It was really cool to see how well run it is. And they have a section for the new pets, like the new innovative new product section. And then it was really helpful, just meet with other companies that have done the same thing and talk to them, and distributors, and have conversations with them. So I was just surprised at how big, and I guess it makes sense. I mean, I guess I never really thought about it before Global, but the industry is huge. So it's then I've heard it's exploding over the last decade or so. So I'm really excited to just get into the space and then see what comes from there, because I thought this was going to be a fun little side, forgive me for the pun, but pet project, if you will.
Right. We love the
this
pun.
Is a business. I'm having fun. This is a business now, though. I mean, there's patents and trademarks and LLCs and all that stuff. So
all the stuff, all the stuff that you might have never thought you had to do and deal with, but once you learn it, it's not as scary, right? You figure out the patents, you figure out the trademarks, all the stuff. You have a good attorney. It's just not as scary. It's not as cheap as you would hope it would be, but that's why you hire the good attorneys, so that you have those people to rely on when you need to. It's interesting. But Global, Super Zoo, they're both really big shows. I always love to be at the shows and see somebody walking in the doors for the very first time, and they're like, whoa. It's really fun to see. And I've helped people over the years, like, well, what should we go look at first? And somebody I know had a big yellow pad. I was like, yeah, good luck with that. That's going to be in your backpack like 5 minutes after. So tell us a little bit about developing the app. What was the challenges there? Because like I said before, you're not only bringing a physical product to market, but it ties into the app. So I would love to know a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's really, so we got the functionality of the app for the most part is done. When we're trying to figure out how we wanted to integrate with it, is one, how do we want the notifications to pop up, to two, what other functionalities do we want once we're inside the app? So one actually interesting thing that we modeled it after, and somewhat, is the baby monitor for my wife's and my daughter, who's almost 2 years old. This is it's very user friendly. The last thing I want this to be, I don't want people to think this is a terrible app. I want people to open up the app and say, this is exactly how it should be. So when you open the app, you'll have your own settings, you'll have your login, but then, you put in your dog's information, the name, date of birth, breed, weight, coloring, maybe I think we're going to add in favorite toy or something like that. Something just kind of humanize it a little bit. And that's all the fun stuff. And then the functionality of it is to make sure that, when you hit the camera, it works exactly how it's supposed to. And then same with the two-way mic. So we thought it'd be cool to be able to talk back and forth to the dog. But one component that I want to highlight is, if you're not home, right? So this was made initially because of Champ. Even if he was on a different floor, it'd be nice if I can get notified of him needing to go to the bathroom. But if you're not home, people are like, what do I do? It has the capability to you can add your neighbor or your dog walker as the individual to receive the notification when your dog presses it. So if they're going to be in the area anyways, they can come by to let your dog out if you're not able to tend to your dog. So
that's incredible. So will the notification go to both you, say you're the person getting notified, and then your dog walker or your neighbor? Does it go out to everybody?
Yeah, so you'll have the option to mute it if you don't want to receive the notification. But you'll have the option to mute it or get it just as well. So and you have the option to choose whether it's a text message or an email. Most people would obviously choose a text message this day and age, because that would just automatically pop up. So yeah, we thought it was a really important component to it, because what if you're not home? Great, my dog needs me, but I'm an hour and a half away. What does that do? So yeah.
And then is it also have the capability a regular pet camera monitor that you can just look in to see how your dog is doing?
So it's a 24/7 live video feed. So the camera it's almost as 180 as you can. It's a very widescreen panoramic camera. I was very impressed the first time, and I'm not just saying this because I'm with the owners. I was very impressed the first time we opened up the camera. I was expecting it to be not really be great. It was awesome. It's a
That's
very
great.
crystal clear camera. And like, as we were testing it and checking it out, typically I have it over here on the floor next to me, and it has a motion sensor as well. So you can set it to as sensitive or not as sensitive. And I have it set high, and every time I move or I cough, there's like a notification popping up on my phone of a motion sensor. So you don't want to toggle that. It's a good thing. It's pretty sensitive if you want it to be, obviously. But yeah, so to answer your question, it's a 24/7 live video feed. So if you're away, your dog's walking around and it's going to go off, and you can even just log in and just watch your dog as you want it to. You can also screenshot and take photos and record videos within the app of whatever your dog's doing if you want.
Can you talk back to the dog like through the app? Okay.
Yeah, so there's a button inside the app. You hold down, it's the microphone, and then it says hold to speak. And then once it's ready, after a second or so, you just talk into it, and it comes right out the speaker in the iPupPee.
I love that, because then if they're like, raiding your garbage, you could be like, Buster.
Yeah, exactly. Drop it. Yeah.
Put that down. What are you doing?
Yeah. So we thought, I think we've thought of all the main important stuff. I'm sure the good thing about the apps is you can update on the fly, the structural of the product, the hardware, I should say, of the product is, you got to make sure it's good to go. It's 100%. The app can always be updated in real time, because one thing actually, when we had it at our house, so when we first got the first few samples, the button on the back is just a blue light, and it just flashes a little bit. It doesn't seem like anything crazy until you wake up early in the morning and you're coming down the hallway and it's pitch black out, and you think you're having you think you're just having like an episode. It's like, I emailed them, guys, like, we got to make this like a solid blue light.
You don't want the dog or anybody having the what do they call that when they have a movie, like flashing lights in this movie?
Exactly. So I was like, this is not, we can't have it like this. So, and they updated on the fly. I noticed like 3 days later, it's just hanging out in my living room. And I was like, oh, that's just a solid blue light now.
And that was just because of the app. That's so cool. I love that. Yeah. Very cool. So we have somebody commenting from LinkedIn saying she's coming from Jersey to your event next week. So that's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, it says it right there.
Wow, that's amazing.
Coming. So yeah, you never know who's going to show up at your event. You might sell out. Oh,
that's amazing. Please come over and say hi. That's amazing. The place, so if you haven't checked it out, if you've never been there, Park 9 it's awesome. It's huge, and we have a very big space. One thing I want to add too, actually, that I haven't added yet, is so we're going to make this like a red carpet event, literally. So we have a red carpet. We're going to have dogs strutting their stuff down a runway. We have a big backdrop along the brick wall. And we're going to have a person there taking photos of you and your dog. We'll have some hashtags trending for the night. We're going to do a raffle giveaway as well. So we're going to have a big basket of stuff that we're going to give it away. So it's literally a red carpet event for you to bring your dog. Dogs aren't required, but they're obviously welcome.
Yeah, welcome. That's awesome. I think that sounds like a fantastic event. Who's somebody who's been talking about pet events for 15 years. I love it. It sounds like you guys are going to have so much fun. And what did you say the name of the place was again?
It's called the Park 9 Dog Bar in Everett. It's
Park 9 Dog Bar. I just wanted to say that we need one of those on Long Island, probably 2 of those. So if anybody,
I'll talk to the owners. Like they're awesome. They're awesome to work with. They've been super nice. If anybody in the area is familiar with Everett, it's about a mile from Encore Casino. So it's pretty close to that. Yeah.
So what would you say, either now going into the pet industry or in your business career, would be the best piece of advice that you have received?
I would say, so I kind of live my life by hard, easy. So do the hard things first and make the second part of the day easier. And I think that was instilled in me when very young. I remember like middle school, high school, we couldn't go out and play with our friends until we did our homework first. And I've noticed as I've gotten older, that's kind of translated over to every other aspect of my life. I always do the hard things first, and just try to enjoy the rest of it after the fact instead of putting things off. You're naturally going to procrastinate in certain things, but what I would say, hard, easy, and then like just like, I don't know if I'm allowed to copy Nike, but just do it. Like take the first step, because you're going to take the step and realize that, okay, the step 2 requires these 3 steps before I do that. And that's constantly what I've done up to this point is I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to do this now, but in order to get to this point, I got to do these 6 things first. And so you just kind of, you take it 1 step forward, you're taking 5 steps back, and eventually you just it's brick by brick, you just laying the foundation, laying the groundwork. I didn't think through the patents and the trademarks and the licensing and the insurance aspect of it. But that obviously all needs to be taken care of before we go. So it's just like a combination of a
Yeah.
whole bunch of things. So I would say just start. You're never gonna have. I like to have everything figured out beforehand. But you're never gonna have everything figured out when you're starting your own business. So take the first step and just figure out where it leads you. I mean, somehow like doing this, like I randomly connected with you on LinkedIn, and now like I've met you at Global. You've provided a lot of insight. I'm now a part of iPupPee. Like now we're on this podcast. So like just none of this would have happened if I just didn't even reach out to you at the first place on LinkedIn. You know, like so you never know what can come from it. So just take the first step and just go from there.
I love that.
See what comes from it.
I love that. I feel like we had similar parents. It might not have been, homework and like if there were some Saturday morning things that we had to do around the house before we could like go and have fun. But that does instill a good work ethic in you to get the stuff done and do that hard stuff first. And the stuff that you might not want to deal with, but once you get it done with, you're like, that wasn't such a big deal.
Yeah, you just don't want to do it because it's not fun. But once it's done, it's like, okay, now I can go have fun. And that's kind of life. Like, it's not always fun. It's not always roses. You got to do some hard stuff first and just get it done.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, like we have so much fun in the pet industry, but it is a business and, you're running a business and you have to do all that stuff and, be professional to a point, right?
Yeah.
So, but I love that also just reach out. Like, I think it's so important. I've met so many people by just reaching out as well, that if I just was like, I don't know, hemmed and hawed, I probably wouldn't have met them and been to the next thing or done the next thing. So that's such great advice. I really appreciate you giving that. What about somebody is entering or thinking about entering the pet industry? What is one thing that you would say, like, I know the industry's big, but something that you would say like, wow, this was amazing to learn or do or whatever in the pet industry. Do you have anything along those lines that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like going to Global was very eye-opening to me. I learned a lot from just talking to other people in the industry. So like outside of randomly reaching out to you on LinkedIn, like just putting yourself in that situation and talking to everybody there. Like I talked from new pet companies to companies that have been in the business for a very long time to distributors. And I think it was very eye-opening going there and just, again, it's just kind of just putting yourself out there and just go and talk to people. I had no idea what the hell I was doing at Global. I had no idea. I walked in, I was like, this is very intimidating. And it just, it's like anything else. Once you understand it more, you become a little bit more comfortable in the setting and you just kind of got to throw yourself into the setting first. Throw yourself into the wolves or the dogs in this case. Just do it.
I feel like the pet industry is very welcoming though, right? Most people are like, it's not cutthroat. It's, you have to do your business stuff. But I think it's like people are excited to meet you, learn about your product. And I think that's one thing about the pet industry that I've always loved, right? People are just like, I'm 20 years in and I'm still excited to meet somebody new and learn about their product. And some of those like, oh, that's so smart. Why didn't anybody else think of that? Like with your product, right? I think it's going to be, it could be a game changer for pet parents that are out and about and not home in time. Like, does the dog have to go out? Do we have a pet sitter? What do we do? That's always a challenge of the schedule, people going back to the office or like in your case, an older dog. So it's really always fun to meet somebody new and a go-getter and somebody that's really interested in the industry. So is there anything else that I didn't ask you about iPupPee that you would like to add or just in general with your business?
I'm sorry, say that again. Cut out real quick.
Is there anything else about iPupPee that you would like to add that I didn't ask you about?
I mean, that's the only thing about iPupPee is, like I said, we're launching very soon. Right now, if you wanted to, you can go to the temporary website it's presale.ipuppee.com. So you put in your email address and you can reserve it. It'll take you to a page where you can put $1 down to reserve it. You don't have to do that. As long as we have your email address, we'll update you once the Kickstarter's live. And then the Kickstarter will be live October 4th. That URL is just way too long to say, but we'll provide it afterwards. And and like if you want to reserve one, you'll get notified of when we go live, and it's legitimately a 40% discount on day one. So it's a very big discount off of the retail price, just to help the early adopters who are very much as excited about this as my wife and I are.
Very cool. Well, I wish you so much luck, and it looks like you're going to have a full house at your event next week, which looks like it's going to be awesome. Make sure you get a lot of photos and share it all over social media. I think it'll be a lot of fun and it'll cause a lot of FOMO for people.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I would love to continue to do something like this. It's such a cool event. We're really excited about it. And I want north of 100. So if anybody's listening,
Yeah.
you're welcome. You're more than welcome to come on by and hang out with all of us. We got plenty of food, raffles, giveaways, all dogs. We got everything.
That's awesome. Listen, I think that people that are pet product manufacturers don't always necessarily think about hosting events. So even if you did this like annually to celebrate every year or something, that will keep promoting, and you could keep sending out press releases about it, all of the things to help. But I really think that it's a great idea. A lot of people don't necessarily think they have to have a location to host something, and you figured it out. Nope, we're doing it at this great place. We're cross promoting each other. So I think it's really smart, and I think you'll have a really great turnout, and doing it again will probably be beneficial to your business. So if anybody else is listening and you're a pet product manufacturer, have some events.
Throw events. Everyone loves hanging out with their pets and their dogs. And
exactly. So we put all of Mark's contact information in the comment section. So if you want to reach out to Mark, make sure you go to their website, sign up for the Kickstarter so and if you can make it to his event, help him get past to that 125 mark. He's close. Mark, listen, it's been so great chatting with you and letting everybody know about iPupPee and what it does and what the capabilities are. I have one more question. I know you're just launching, but do you see a future of other additional products now that you've done this? You don't have to say what it is, but are your wheels spinning like, ooh, I want to do more products? Yeah.
We have an LLC, and my goal the next 3 to 5 years is to have 3 to 5 products under that umbrella. We want to have, we want to have multiple products. I can already think of 2 other products that I want to be integrated with the iPupPee and the app. So hopefully, next year we start those conversations with the tooling and the engineering of those products, and maybe 2025 is product number 2 is going to come out.
Yeah, just do it and keep going. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah,
I can't wait to hear what they are when you're ready to share, but not live yet.
Not yet. Not live. I'll tell you off air maybe.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark, for being here. Good luck to you, and check out Mark's comment, the links in the comment to connect with him, and congratulations on everything. It's so fun to watch you from when we met at Global to seeing you in Boston in June to now you're almost there launching. Very exciting.